Hi guys, thanks for joining me at Handlebars and Holidays once again. It's a slightly cloudy but ever improving Western Australian morning, and we find ourselves at Cully's Triumph and Yamaha in Balcatta, where they are very kindly allowing us to take out the Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS for a spin. So let's do it. So here we are aboard the Speed Triple 1200 RS, and a rather nice place it is to be too. The weather has picked up. I've had the bike for about 15 minutes, just come to the coast. So what I thought we would do is have a little bit of a ride up the coast. There's likely to be a bit of traffic, just kind of test out the slow speed traffic stuff, see what it's like in nice and gentle. I've got a bit of everything planned basically. So yeah, got some bit of twisty roads, bit of freeway, bit of everything. So first impressions. Initially, first threw my leg over this wonderful machine and thought to myself, oh, the pegs are high. Pegs are a bit higher than what I'm used to, and my instant reaction was, oh, this might be a little bit strange. But honestly, within about a minute it feels quite normal. Totally different than my other bikes, but this would obviously come into the super naked category. But yeah, after a few minutes in the saddle, this is actually a very nice place to be, as I say. The other thing that struck me straight away is the seat is surprisingly comfy. A couple of bikes going the other way there. Yeah, the seat is surprisingly comfy. I was expecting, because of the type of bike, you know, a little bit more sporty, a bit more aggressive, it to be a bit harder. It actually feels quite gel-like. I don't know whether it is a gel seat, but compared to my MT-09, which I've now got the comfort seat on, this is actually comfier straight away, which is nice. So yeah, we'll talk about specs and things a little bit further down the ride. I've got a spot planned to do a bit of a walk round and have a bit of a chat about some of the more specifics, but of course anybody that wants to get into the real technical stuff, that's all over Google. You've got no problem finding out anything you need to know these days. It's all very simple. But we will talk about some of the more major points. What I really want to kind of focus on, because it's what matters to me, and I think probably will matter to a lot of other people who might be considering this bike, is just your sort of gut feeling, you know. Things you ride a bike sometimes and you think that I really like that, you know, or it just doesn't do anything for me. So I'm all about gut feelings and rather than specifics. But my gut feeling, you know, about 20 minutes into this ride now, is that this is a nice bike. A few things that have struck me already. The up and down quick shifter on this bike is absolutely superb. Regular viewers of my channel will know that I recently purchased a Rocket 3 GT. I've had that for probably about 3 months now. Love the bike, but I'm still waiting of my quick shifter for that. So a bit warm. My MT-09 has an up quick shifter but not the down, whereas this triple has both, and it's very, very smooth. It really makes me look forward to mine coming. Even when you're going really nice and steady, it's still smooth. And the ability to downshift is, oh god, it's just easy. just makes life nice. I'm all about easy, all about easy. So the sort of ergonomics of the bike, I think, it seems to be something, I mean, bear in mind I'm fairly new to Triumph. I've had an awful lot of bikes in my time, but my Rocket 3 is my first Triumph, and I'm just beginning to realise what I've been missing. They seem to have got such a lot right. So yes, nice wide bars, very nice clear TFT dash, excellent mirrors. Well, these are all things I'll go through in a little bit more detail when we get where we're going. But I just wanted to come down the coast here because there's always somebody in front of you going 10 k's less than they should be. But at least it gives you a bit of an insight into, you know, what it's like to ride in traffic. So Triumph revamped the Speed Triple for this year. This is obviously the 2021 model, and they completely redesigned the whole bike. I mean, you sort of assume they've tweaked a few things, as is normally the case, but this is a different frame, it's a different engine, it's got lots of upgrades, and seemingly I didn't ride the old one, to be honest, so I'm struggling to draw a comparison, but from what I've read and watched on YouTube and such like, significant improvements in all departments from what I can tell. It's actually a very quite a surprisingly smooth ride. I expected it to be a little bit harsher than it is. It's quite a refined ride, considering the sort of semi-aggressive sports bike type category that you would have to put this machine into. Gearbox is beautiful. Everything is very light. It's a very nimble bike. So I think in terms of trundling along at 50 to 60 k's an hour, bike's very happy. Fueling's nice, on and off the throttle. I've actually left the bike in sport mode, so you could obviously dull it down, but it's nice and refined in sport mode. Okay, so here we are. Let's run through a few specifications, shall we? Triumph website, $27,900. It's a fair amount of money, but it's a lot of bike. This particular one is the Sapphire Black. We've got a curb weight of 198 kilograms, 15.5 litre tank, 830mm seat height, which I can flat foot on quite nicely. I'm about 5'10" with a 32-inch inseam. Nice wide bars, lovely TFT. I'll do a little separate video of the TFT, but really nice, very intuitive, very easy to use. Obviously got all the normal modern, what you would expect in terms of phone connectivity, music. You can control your GoPro through it via the My Triumph app. 5 riding modes, so you've got rain, road, sport, track, and the ride is the user configurable mode. Obviously cruise control, all LED lighting. Bike's really not lacking anything. I think it's crying out for a tail tidy. I'm not too sure about the piece of scaffolding on the back there. Each to their own, I suppose. So technology wise, built-in anti-wheelie, cornering ABS, very, very nice Metzeler Racetac RR K3 tyres. I did a little bit of reading about these tyres last night, and they're like a race/road, good on the road, good in the rain, but a nice track tyre as well. So yeah, they put really good tyres on. In terms of chassis and brakes, tubular aluminium twin spar frame, single-sided swinging arm obviously. I'm working my way back round to that. 43mm inverted forks, obviously Öhlins full adjustable suspension front and rear.
320mm discs on the front with the Brembo Stylema brakes, and they are absolutely superb. The rear's got a 220mm disc with a 2-pot caliper. Did I mention 4-pot on the front? And your lust for power should be satisfied by the 1160cc inline triple engine, which produces 177.5 brake horsepower at 10,750 revs. Oh, we've just been joined by some little friends here. Torque is, the horsepower, by the way, is up about 30 brake horsepower on the previous model, which is a significant increase. Torque is up by about 8 Newton meters and comes in at 9,000 RPM. So you know, she's a revvy little girl. She wants to be thrashed, and the lust for sound is quenched by the 3-into-1 stainless steel system, which I think might could maybe do with being a touch louder. At the moment, doing the little tootle down the promenade that I've just done, it seems a touch on the quiet side. But you know, let's just get in there and have a bit closer look. It's a very, very nicely finished off bike, this. Some really nice. Triumph's attention to detail is superb. Cool sort of wasp-like lights. Just riding up here, fantastic handlebars in terms of, you know, a real nice fit. Mirrors, no vibration whatsoever in the mirrors. Illuminated switchgear. Just very, very nice. Okay, let's go and find some little bit nicer roads. So just cruising along at 80 k's an hour. I'm doing 3,000 revs in top. Bike is very, very comfortable. No vibration whatsoever in the mirrors. I don't know if you can make that out. Unrivaled views of what's behind you rather than your elbows. But it's a bike that's very happy at nice leisurely pace, which kind of surprises me a little bit. Woohoo! That quick shifter, I know I'm a bit repetitive, but that quick shifter is awesome. I must admit, I keep forgetting to use it on the downshift because I'm just not used to it, but it's certainly coming. It just adds a whole different dimension to bike riding. I actually thought I expected to feel a little bit more weight on my wrists. Obviously the bike throws you forward a little bit more than some, but it's certainly not an issue. I sort of stopped riding sports bikes as such some years ago because of the weight on my wrists. I just felt like I was hands down, arse up, and it was just all too much of a struggle in traffic. Well, this certainly isn't the case. This is a nice feel. You can feel a tiny bit of weight on your wrist, but I mean, I'm doing 84 k's an hour now and there's absolutely nothing. In terms of wind blast, yes, it's a naked bike, obviously. I think they do a little tiny screen. I think Triumph do a couple of options actually of screen, but the wind blast is very consistent. It's not turbulated at all. Is that a word? Have I just invented a new word there? There's no turbulence. It's not throwing you about. I don't feel like Mr. Bobblehead. It's nice and consistent. Smooth.
At 198 kilos, this isn't a super light bike, but it feels very nimble, very, very agile. You don't feel, I think it's probably about 20 kilos heavier than my MT-09. It feels very similar in terms of maneuverability. The tyres are very sort of confidence inspiring, I suppose. They feel very planted. I don't know whether that's a bit of a psychological thing because I've been reading about how good the tyres are. But regardless, it feels good. This is very much a West Australian habit, people riding at the side of one another like this, blocking both lanes. I don't understand that at all. This is about 3 kilometres now that they've been riding along at the side of each other like this. It's almost like they're teasing you to go in between them. Okay, so just gone through the twisties. Very, very confidence inspiring, unbelievably so. It's a bike that just wants to show you what it can do. I mean, obviously I would never break the speed limit, but I do feel absolutely confident that if you hit 6,000 revs, this bike would come alive. Let's just leave it at that. I think it's actually a bike that's a really good all-rounder. I mean, it was really nice and smooth coming up the coast, just plodding along at 40, 50 k's an hour in traffic. As I mentioned, the fueling is really smooth. I mean, even in sport mode, on and off the gas, it's not snatchy. So yeah, it's really surprising. On the nice, when you're open roads like this where you're doing 80, 90 k's an hour, it's very, very happy. Put it in the windies, and as I say, I'm sure if you wound it up a bit, you would be absolutely amazed. Cruise control works well. It's basically the same as I'm used to on the Rocket, but yeah, very, very good. Holds a nice constant speed. Very easy to activate and obviously deactivate. Bike tracks very well. Nice and steady, nice and smooth. You can steer it with your hips quite easily. So on long rides, if you wanted to, you know, eat a sandwich or have a bowl of soup or something like that, no problem, easy. So I'm just going to hop on the freeway now and head back to the shop. That way at least we've covered all the different road types. So I've actually ridden the Speed Triple for probably about 2 hours, I would say, just now. I've been out for 2 hours and 20 minutes, so a little bit of filming off the bike, but basically about 2 hours in the seat, and very comfortable, surprisingly comfortable. I sort of expected this bike aimed a little bit more at the weekend warrior, but I think maybe not. I think you know, you could certainly use this as a daily. It is very comfortable. Sitting on 100 k's an hour in 6 gear, very smooth flowing air. I'd have no issues going a fair distance on this. You could maybe even do a bit of light touring, to be honest. So do I have any particular dislikes about the bike? There's a couple of, I mean, incredibly minor things, to be honest. If this were my bike, I would probably end up changing the exhaust. It does have a really nice engine tone when you wind it up, but lower down the rev range, which is where you'd spend most of your time, it's a touch on the quiet side for me. I know that's very subjective, each to their own. But I could see me potentially put in an Akrapovic or something similar if I had one of these. I'd probably soften the suspension up ever so slightly, but that's just an adjustment. I do that on most of my bikes. Again, that's just personal preference. It's not bad, but I'd probably tweak that a little bit. And the only thing that I can say that I don't like is that little brake fluid reservoir. I'm sure that could have been a bit nicer, considering it stuck out right in front of you. The TFT, the connectivity, I've not really gone into that in any detail. I'll show you a little clip now of just what it looks like starting up, because it's quite cool the way it comes up with the a little logo of the bike, and you can put your name in there and that sort of stuff. So that's all quite cool. I particularly like that this has the same locking mechanism, the steering lock, as my Rocket, which is really good because you swing the handlebars over, press the lock button, and it turns the ignition off for you. And if you get into the habit of using that button, having stopped the engine, using the lock button to turn the ignition off, then you're never going to forget to lock your bike, which is kind of a habit that I've got to on the Rocket. So if you're considering the Speed Triple, and if you live in WA, go and see Sam at Cully's in Balcatta. He very much looked after me when I bought my Rocket, and I'm sure he would love to do the same for you. And if you don't live in WA, go to your local dealer and find your Sam. So here we are back at Cully's in Balcatta, and that was a very enjoyable ride on a very nice bike. Very, very hard to say anything negative about that. I'll just show you the dash, because I didn't do that earlier. But you flick the ignition on and you get a very nice ta-da. How cool is that? And then boom, there she goes. Very nice, very clear. Apparently the glass has some special coating on it or something that means that you can see it regardless of sunlight and such like. I had no issues, I could see it clear as day. So yeah, all good. Also just wanted to show you that very cool backlight. How nice is that? Okay guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. So thanks for joining me again at Handlebars and Holidays. I hope it's been of some interest. I've certainly had a very nice morning. And yeah, Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS. Massive thumbs up. So as always, take care. See you next time. Ride safe.